we'll taste our Saint-Émilion. So again, 2018 vintage. Chateau Berliquet is a Grand Cru Classé of Saint-Émilion. So a good opportunity to talk about the classification of Saint-Émilion. So we know the 1855 classification was written in tablets of stone. 100 years later, Saint-Émilion and the Grave, actually, in the 1950s, woke up to the fact that they didn't have a classification and that this classification was a really, really useful marketing tool. And they decided to create their own classifications. It's actually quite interesting because Saint-Émilion was the very first appellation or wine region in Bordeaux to have a jurade, or to have a collective identity, promotional identity working together since medieval times. So it's kind of interesting that it took them so long to work out the classification. But by the 1950s, they introduced the classification. And as you know, the distinct difference is, in theory, every 10 years, it gets reclassified. And I know I'm being taped, so I have to be careful what I say here. So the last classification was in 2022. And in 2012 was the big change. So in 2012, so quick reminder, you have to be a Grand Cru Classé. You have to be a Grand Cru appellation to apply to become a Grand Cru Classé. It is not automatic, you have to apply. And it's a big job to apply. It's a big dossier. And you can apply to become a Grand Cru Classé or a Premier Grand Cru Classé. And within the Premier Grand Cru Classés, traditionally, most of them have been Bs, and there's only been 2 As, right? Traditionally, the 2 As were Cheval Blanc and Ozone. In 2012, 2 more As joined the club, Angelus and Pavie, right? So we went to 4 As. Not everybody was terribly impressed. And so it was challenged. And, you know, one thing led to another. By 2022, 2 of the A's, well, 3 of the A's eventually pulled out. So Ozone and Cheval Blanc were not classified at all in 2022. They pulled out of the classification. They were not declassified, they chose not to be classified. Why? Okay, the official reason is the way the classification is judged is not uniquely on the quality of the wine. There's a whole criteria of classification that includes the terroir, the winemaking facilities, the price of your wine, your marketing and promotion and whether you're open to the public, and of course the quality of the wine. The argument that Cheval Blanc and Ozone put forward is they disagree with the criteria. They think a higher percentage of the classification criteria should be based on quality of the wine rather than the other criteria. That's the official explanation.